It's never been like this. I hit that kind of magical menopausal age, 52. I was a mess. I gained that 20 pounds, on my little tiny 5'1" frame. I was an emotional mess. And I was like, I'd reached that. I've been a fitness instructor all my life. I couldn't believe me, of all people, just couldn't get the energy to exercise and to stick to things. And in 2014, a friend of mine introduced me to EFT. And when I was asked this question about motivation, I thought, that really changed my life. Hi, I'm Sally Thibault, menopause wellness and fitness coach with over 40 years experience in fitness, counselling, and I'm also an EFT master trainer. I can help you navigate this sometimes tumultuous time in your life to feel stronger, leaner, and lighter as you navigate towards the best years of your life. I hope you enjoy this video. My friend Susan, who actually lives in New York, we were in an accountability group together with some other people. And when I was going through all this, she said, you probably need to do a tapping session. And I said, stupid thing. I've seen that. People's tapping on their face and it looked ridiculous. But she did one session with me, and can I tell you, it just shifted. I went on from there to, as it turned out, like literally 2 or 3 weeks later, there was a training held in Brisbane. I went up and did that and then went on to become an EFT master trainer. And I used to work with medical professionals, psychologists, psychiatrists, and nurses to teach them EFT in a clinical setting. Since then, I've tapped nearly every day. It really has changed my life. And I have seen in my clients that this modality can really help. What I love about EFT when it comes to fitness and health and motivation is that it helps release the limiting stories we tell ourselves that we don't even know are there. And that motivation is actually always an inside job. We don't need to find motivation. It's actually an inside job. Did you know, work by Dr. Lisa Mosconi is showing that as we age, our brains actually change. After menopause, our brain has to learn to recalibrate itself and goes through massive changes during our menopausal years. And it's the greatest change our brain goes through since we were in puberty. And so using EFT can help you change that brain structure, because under MRI, we've seen when people tap that the neurons in the brain will actually pull apart a little bit and they rewire. So using EFT is going to help you rewire the brain to think differently. Our brains are actually wired to think negatively. The neural pathways are smoother with a negative thought than they are a positive thought. And so EFT is going to help that process along. So what I would like you to do is to write down something you would like to specifically tap. So I'm going to choose some words. What I want you to do is to change those words for yourself. And the thing about EFT is it has to be specific. I've done tapping videos online, but really to get it to really work is being as specific as you can about the truth of how you feel, and then changing those words to target it. And that's the power of EFT, is to be able to get very specific. For instance, when we talk about tapping for stress, for instance, or anxiety, or anger, or lack of motivation, as you're tapping, there might be different words that come up for you. Like, for instance, you might say, well, I'm stressed. But as you're tapping, a word could come up, actually, I'm just exhausted. Or actually, I'm overwhelmed. So as we tap, we drop deeper and deeper into the truth of the emotion that you're feeling. And when you do that, that's when the release comes. Because all tapping really does is lower the emotional connection to a thought, a belief, or words driving choices you make. And so when you tap on the specific word that you're really feeling, it releases the emotional connection. And each and every thought, belief, and choice we make is based on the stories we have been given as children. So somebody could have said something to you when you were 14 or 15 or 10, somebody you knew, liked and trusted, someone in a position where you valued their opinion, parent, a teacher, a best friend, at a time when you may have felt a bit vulnerable. In particular, we talk about that vulnerability that comes sort of in puberty years. And then an idea goes into the amygdala, which holds these stories to protect us. For instance, give you for instance, say you're 2 years old and you went to put your hand on the stove and it was hot and you burnt yourself. Your brain, that reptilian brain, amygdala, hippocampus, and hypothalamus, locks that story in and says, oh, don't put your hand on a hot stove because it'll burn. And that's what protects you. At the same time, on other things, somebody could have said something to you as a teenager or younger, especially when it comes to our body. You know, a lot of well-meaning parents will say things like, oh, you're getting a little bit chubby. Or, you know, my family, we used to say a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. I always thought, well, that means I have to, anything I eat will go straight to my hips and thighs. It's just a story. Some things that were said, not true. It's not true. But that gets locked in there. Now, when it comes to motivation, what motivation is the ability to do what you want to do to achieve what you want. And if there is a story you're telling, maybe it could be, you know, if I lose weight, get fit, maybe I become more desirable. That's not a healthy thing to do or a safe thing to do. There's a story there. Whenever you set an intention to do something and you can't find that motivation, instead of beating yourself up, it's find what it is. What's the story I'm telling myself? What's the thing that's blocking me? For many of us, it's the diet and restrictive mentality stuff. You know, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I'll just get back to it after Christmas, or, oh, well, you know, it's Christmas, I'm just going to enjoy myself, eat whatever I want. That's a diet restrictive mentality dogma that was given to us, that somehow there's an on and off switch to health. There's not. As we move through this wisdom age, past 50 and 60, our intuition and our knowledge are our superpower. And learning to trust your body to make those decisions for you is the greatest superpower you can, because we're all intuitive. Our intuition protects us. I mean, I'm sure you've been through circumstances where your intuition's been screaming at you about something, and you have a decision. You follow it or you don't. And what I find extraordinary is women are actually incredibly intuitive, except when it comes to food and exercise. Because in the past, we've handed our power over to somebody we think we know better. And the diet industry and the fitness industry are probably to blame. I know I was in the diet fitness industry for 40 years, so I get it. So tapping, what it does is release the story we're telling ourselves, so it makes you safe to be who you want to be and trust your intuition.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you do not miss another video on my channel. And I also invite you to join my Facebook group, Living Lighter, in order to have daily inspiration, motivation, education to help you navigate this wonderful time of your life. I'll see you soon.